My sister accused me of stealing Aunt May's jewelry on a Tuesday afternoon. By 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, my mother had uninvited me from Thanksgiving. It started with a phone call. Jenna's voice, sweet and trembling, the way she gets when she's playing the victim. "Claire, I know you took Aunt May's diamond earrings and the pearl necklace. I saw you at the funeral. You took them." I was sitting at my kitchen table, holding a mug of cold coffee. I hadn't touched it in 10 minutes. "I didn't take anything, Jenna." "Don't lie to me. I saw you," I told Mom. She hung up. 30 seconds later, my phone buzzed again. This time it was my mother. "Claire, I need you to be honest with me." Her voice was tight, controlled, like she was holding back tears. "Did you take May's jewelry?" "No, Mom, I didn't." "Jenna said she saw you. She said you went into May's room at the house after the service." It was the funeral, Monday, November 15th. I remembered standing in Aunt May's living room, shaking hands with people I hadn't seen in years. I remembered crying in the bathroom. I remembered leaving without saying goodbye because I couldn't handle another person telling me she was in a better place. I never went near her bedroom. "Mom, I didn't go into her room. I didn't take anything." "There was a pouch, velvet. She said you walked out with it." "There was no pouch. There was nothing." The line went quiet. I heard her take a breath. "Claire, I need you to return them. If you just bring them back, we can forget this happened. We can have Thanksgiving like normal." "If you just bring them back." She wasn't asking if I did it. She was telling me I did. "I'm not bringing back something I never took." Another pause. And then she said it, calm and final, like she was reading an order off a menu. "Then you're not welcome at Thanksgiving. Not until you return what you stole." 2 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. I was uninvited from Thanksgiving for a crime I didn't commit. I held the phone after she hung up. I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at the cold coffee, replaying the conversation, trying to find the exact moment where I became the villain in someone else's story. I put the mug in the sink. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up the email chain from Mr. Harrison, Aunt May's estate attorney. He had sent us all a message a few days after the funeral. Standard stuff, condolences. Next steps. I remembered one detail clearly. He had inventoried the jewelry before the funeral. Every piece, every stone. He had photographed and cataloged the entire collection so there could be no questions about distribution later. I scrolled until I found his number. Then I called. He answered on the second ring. "Claire, nice to hear from you." "Mr. Harrison, I need to ask you something." "Of course." "After Aunt May passed, you inventoried her jewelry collection before the funeral." "That's correct. Standard procedure for an estate. I photographed every piece, logged every item. It's all in the file. Can you send me a copy?" A pause. "Not a suspicious one, just an attorney weighing a request." "I can send you the inventory, yes. May I ask why?" I kept my voice even. "My sister says I took 2 pieces. The diamond earrings and the pearl necklace." "My mother believes her. I've been uninvited from Thanksgiving." He didn't react immediately. Then, quiet and measured, he said, "That's unfortunate, Claire. The inventory will confirm what was present before the funeral. I'll send it first thing in the morning." "Thank you." "And Claire?" "What?" "There's something else you should know. Your aunt had a hidden camera installed in her bedroom after a theft scare about 6 months ago. The footage is stored on a secure server." I stopped breathing for half a second. She didn't tell anyone? She didn't want to create drama. She was a cautious woman. "Would you like me to check the footage from the day of the funeral?" "Sure, yes." "I'll have it by morning." I thanked him again and hung up. Then I sat in the dark, phone in my hand, watching the time change from 2:32 to 2:33. My mother had uninvited me from Thanksgiving. My sister had called me a liar and a thief, and Mr. Harrison had just handed me the truth. The next morning, I woke up at 7:45. I hadn't slept well. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jenna's face across my kitchen table, her voice sweet and wounded. "I saw you, Claire, at the funeral. You went into Aunt May's room and took that velvet pouch. I hadn't gone anywhere near Aunt May's bedroom. I'd spent the entire funeral in the living room, greeting relatives I hadn't seen in years, making small talk about the weather and the catered sandwiches. But Jenna had said it so confidently, so sincerely, that even I almost believed her for a second. My mother certainly did. I made coffee. I sat at my small kitchen table and watched the clock. Mr. Harrison had said he'd have the evidence soon. But first, he promised the inventory. At 9 o'clock, my phone buzzed. An email from Harrison and Associates, Estate Law. Subject line: Inventory of Aunt May's estate, jewelry collection. I opened it. The PDF was 12 pages long. Each page had professional photographs of every piece, cataloged by date, description, and estimated value. There were brooches and pendants, rings and bracelets, each one photographed from multiple angles. And there, on page 7, were the diamond earrings. Small, brilliant, set in platinum, estimated value $4,000. On page 9, the pearl necklace, 18 inches, natural saltwater pearls with a diamond clasp. Estimated value $2,000. Both photographed. Both dated Monday, November 15th at 8 a.m. Before the funeral. I scrolled through the entire document twice. Every piece was accounted for. Every piece had a timestamp. And at the bottom of each page, Mr. Harrison's signature and the notary stamp. I took a screenshot of pages 7 and 9. Then I called Mr. Harrison. He answered on the first ring. "Good morning, Claire." "Good morning. I received the inventory. Thank you." "You're welcome. I assume you noticed the timestamps." 8 a.m. on the day of the funeral, before anyone arrived. "Correct," he said. "Every piece was photographed and cataloged in Aunt May's bedroom at 8 o'clock in the morning. The jewelry was present and accounted for at that time." I let that sink in. So when Jenna says she saw me take the earrings and necklace during the funeral, the jewelry was already photographed and placed back on the dresser where Aunt May always kept it. If anyone took anything after 8 a.m., they took it from that dresser. I felt something shift in my chest, a weight lifting. But I wasn't done yet. "You mentioned a hidden camera," I said. "Yes, Aunt May installed it after a previous theft scare. About 6 months ago. She didn't tell anyone except me. She didn't want to create drama within the family." "Where is it?" "In her bedroom, above the closet door pointed at the dresser where the jewelry was kept." "And the footage?" "It's stored on a secure server. I have access. I can pull any date range you need." I looked at the clock on my kitchen wall. 9:03 in the morning. I had a full day ahead of me. "Can you pull the footage from the day of the funeral?" I asked. "And the days after?" "Of course. I'll have it within the hour." "I need you to send it to me directly, not to my mother. Not to anyone else." There was a pause. Then Mr. Harrison said, "Claire, I want to be clear about something. I am the executor of Aunt May's estate. My duty is to carry out her wishes and protect her assets. If someone in the family has taken something that belongs to the estate, I have a professional obligation to pursue recovery. Not just for you, for the estate." "I understand." "Good. I'll send you a link to the footage when it's ready." I thanked him and hung up. I sat there in my kitchen, coffee growing cold in my hand, staring at the inventory email on my phone. 12 pages, 67 pieces, everyone photographed and accounted for. And somewhere on a server, a camera had recorded everything that happened in Aunt May's bedroom that morning. My sister had accused me of stealing. My mother had believed her. The rest of the family had sided with her. But they didn't know what I knew now. I set down my coffee, pulled up my text messages. There were 3 unread messages from my mother. I opened the first one. "Claire, I hope you're thinking about what I said. We miss you. But I can't have you at Thanksgiving until you return what you took." I didn't reply. I didn't argue. I just waited. My phone buzzed at 10,000 that same morning. A message from Mr. Harrison. "The footage is ready. I've uploaded it to a secure link. You'll need the password I sent separately." I was at my kitchen table, still in my robe. The coffee had gone cold hours ago. I hadn't touched it. I'd been staring at the wall since I woke up at 7,045, running through every possible outcome. I opened the link, entered the password. A video player loaded on my screen. The timestamp in the corner read November 15, 8:81:4 a.m. Morning of the funeral. The camera angle showed the whole bedroom. The dresser. The closet door in the corner of the frame. I pressed play. For a long moment, nothing moved. Just a still shot of an empty room with pale morning light coming through the curtains. Then the door opened. Jenna walked in. She was wearing black. A simple dress, low heels. Her hair was pulled back. She looked like she was checking her reflection in the mirror. But she didn't stop at the mirror. She walked straight to the dresser, opened the top drawer, pulled out a small velvet pouch. I recognized it. Jenna opened the pouch. She tilted it toward the light. Something caught the camera's eye and flashed. 2 flashes. Then she pulled out a strand of pearls and held them up, letting them dangle in front of her face. She smiled. It was a quick smile, a private one. The kind of smile you give yourself when you've gotten away with something. She tucked the earrings and necklace back into the pouch, closed it, and slipped it into her purse. Then she smoothed her dress, checked her reflection one more time, and walked out. The whole thing took less than 3 minutes. I watched it again. Then a third time. I wanted to make sure I wasn't misreading anything. But the image was clear. The timestamp was clear. Jenna, in Aunt May's bedroom, alone, taking the jewelry out of the dresser and putting it in her purse. I saved the file, copied it to a folder on my desktop, emailed it to myself, made 3 backups. Then I checked my phone. There was a new text message. From Jenna. It had come in at exactly 10,000 a.m. I opened it. Got the earrings and necklace. "Tell Mom I saw Claire take them." I stared at the screen. My heart didn't race. My hands didn't shake. I just felt cold. Icy. The kind of cold that makes you very, very still. She'd sent it to the wrong person, meant for whoever was helping her. Maybe a friend. Maybe an accomplice. But she'd typed my name by accident. I took a screenshot, saved it, sent it to my email, backed it up. Then I read the message again. Got the earrings and necklace. "Tell Mom I saw Claire take them." 12 words, a confession, a frame-up, an admission of everything. I sent the screenshot to Mr. Harrison with a single line. "This was sent to me by accident this morning. Combined with the footage, I think we have everything we need." He replied within a minute. "I agree. I'll have the codicil ready for Thanksgiving dinner." Codicil. I didn't know what that meant yet. But I trusted him. I set down my phone. I opened my laptop. I made a new folder labeled Thanksgiving. Into it, I put the inventory PDF, the footage file, the screenshot of Jenna's text, 3 pieces of evidence, everything I needed to prove I was innocent and she was guilty. And still, I didn't call my mother. I didn't text my sister. I didn't defend myself to anyone. I just waited. I wanted to see how far they'd go, how confident they'd get, how many more lies they'd tell before the truth arrived at the dinner table. I had everything I needed, but I wanted to see how far they'd go. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, my mother sent me a text. Hope you've come to your senses. Bring the jewelry Thursday and we'll pretend this never happened. I read it twice. Then I set down my phone and went back to my folder. The folder labeled Thanksgiving. Inside it, 3 files sat waiting. Inventory, footage, screenshot. I didn't reply. Thursday morning, I woke up at 6. I showered. I dressed in a dark green sweater and black pants. Nothing flashy, nothing that said I was trying too hard. I put my phone in my coat pocket. I grabbed my laptop. I drove to 42 Maple Street. The Colonial House looked the same as always. White pillars, wreath on the door, warm light spilling from the kitchen windows. I could smell the turkey from the street. I parked behind Jenna's car, a silver BMW. New. I wondered what payments she was missing. I walked up the front steps. I didn't knock. I opened the door and stepped inside. The living room fell silent. My mother stood by the fireplace, a glass of wine in her hand. Jenna sat on the couch, phone in her palm, feet tucked under her. My Aunt Carol and Uncle Dave were perched on the love seat. They all stared at me like I was a trespasser. Claire, my mother said. Her voice was flat. You weren't invited. I shrugged. I know. But I didn't steal anything, and I'm not going to miss Thanksgiving because of a lie. I brought a salad. I held up the plastic container I'd grabbed from my fridge. Mixed greens, cherry tomatoes, a drizzle of vinaigrette. It was the most passive-aggressive salad I'd ever made. Jenna stood up. She smiled, that sweet, practiced smile that had always worked on everyone. Claire, it's okay. We don't have to fight today. Let's just enjoy dinner. She walked over and hugged me. I let her. I felt her arms wrap around my shoulders. I felt her breath against my ear. I forgive you, she whispered. I said nothing. My mother watched us. Her face softened. She wanted this to be over. She wanted the version where Jenna was gracious and I was grateful. She didn't care which version was true. Fine, my mother said. Sit down. Dinner's almost ready. I sat at the dining table. The good china was out. The crystal glasses, the embroidered napkins. My mother always went all out for Thanksgiving. Jenna took the seat across from me. She kept glancing at my purse. She kept smiling. I smiled back. Dinner was served at 6. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce from a can because my mother swore it tasted better than homemade. We passed dishes. We made small talk. My uncle asked about my job. My aunt talked about her new puppy. Jenna told a story about a client who cried during a showing. Everyone laughed. Everyone pretended I belonged there. And all the while, I watched the clock. 6:30, 6:45, 7. My mother stood up to clear the plates. Who wants pie? Me, Jenna said. I'll help you. They disappeared into the kitchen. I heard the refrigerator open. I heard my mother laugh at something Jenna said. I pulled out my phone. Nothing from Mr. Harrison. The front doorbell rang. My mother called from the kitchen. Can someone get that? I stood up. I crossed the foyer. I opened the door. Mr. Harrison stood on the porch in a navy suit and a gray overcoat. He held a leather folder in his right hand. His face was calm. Professional. Good evening, Claire, he said. Good evening, Mr. Harrison. I hope I'm not interrupting dinner. No, I said. You're right on time. I stepped aside. He walked into the house. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice. Who was at the... She stopped. She saw him. Jenna appeared behind her, pie plate in hand, face suddenly pale. My mother set down the pie. Mr. Harrison? What are you doing here? He smiled politely. I apologize for arriving unannounced, Linda, but I have some news regarding Aunt May's estate that I thought you should hear this evening. He looked at Jenna. She looked at the floor. Please, he said. Everyone sit down. I sat down at the table. Mr. Harrison took the chair across from me. My mother stood by the sideboard, arms crossed. Jenna was frozen beside the pie plate, her fork still in her hand. "Aunt Carol and Uncle Dave," I said gently. "You should hear this, too." They exchanged glances but stayed seated. Mr. Harrison opened his leather folder. He pulled out a stack of papers. The first page was the inventory. I recognized it immediately. The same 12-page PDF I had read at my kitchen table. "Before I begin," he said, "I should explain something. When I prepared Aunt May's estate, I photographed and cataloged every piece of jewelry in her collection. I did this before the funeral, at her specific instruction." He slid a sheet across the table. My mother leaned forward to see it. "The inventory lists each item and its estimated value, Mr. Harrison said. Page 7 shows the diamond earrings. Page 9 shows the pearl necklace. They were present and accounted for at 8 a.m. on November 15th. Jenna's fork clinked against the plate. She set it down carefully. The jewelry was placed back on the dresser after the photographs were taken. Mr. Harrison continued. "Now, Aunt May was cautious. 6 months ago, after a previous theft scare, she installed a hidden camera in her bedroom. It points at the dresser. The footage is stored on a secure server." My mother's face went pale. "What? A camera?" Mr. Harrison nodded. He pulled out another set of papers. These were stills, black and white, grainy but clear. The footage from November 15th, 8:14 a.m., shows Jenna entering the bedroom alone. She is dressed in black. She walks directly to the dresser. She opens the top drawer and removes a small velvet pouch. He placed the stills on the table, one by one. My mother stared at them, her lips parted. She did not speak. "I'm sorry, Mom," Jenna said. Her voice was small. "Hi, I was checking on everything, making sure nothing was, you know." "Jenna," Mr. Harrison said softly, "please." She went quiet. "There is more," he said. During a routine check of Aunt May's estate on Wednesday morning, I found diamond earrings matching Aunt May's pair listed on an online auction site for $3,000. He pulled out a printout, a screenshot of an eBay page. I saw the username. I recognized it. It was listed under Jenna's account, Mr. Board. Harrison said, "I confirmed it before coming here tonight." The table was silent. My mother sat down slowly. She did not look at Jenna. She did not look at me. "Now," Mr. Harrison said, "I need to read something." He unfolded a second document. "This is a codicil," Aunt May added to her. "Will 6 months ago, shortly after she installed the camera. She suspected someone might try to sell pieces from her collection. She wanted to prevent it." He cleared his throat. He read aloud. "Any beneficiary who attempts to sell, list for sale, or transfer ownership of any item from my jewelry collection shall be disinherited from any trust fund established under my estate, with the full amount redistributed among the remaining beneficiaries." He set the document down. "This applies to the trust fund held for each grandchild," he said. "Jenna's trust is valued at $60,000. Under the terms of the codicil, that amount will be frozen and redistributed among the other grandchildren." Jenna stood up. Her chair scraped the floor. "That's not fair. I didn't know. That's not mine." She pointed at the stills. "That could be anyone." Mr. Harrison did not blink. The footage also captured audio. "The velvet pouch is identifiable by its embroidery, and the listing on the auction site includes photographs of the earrings next to a handwritten note with the date. The handwriting matches the note in Aunt May's jewelry box." He turned to her. "It's yours, Jenna. You took them. You listed them. And you framed your sister." Jenna looked at my mother. "Mom, tell him. Tell him he's wrong." My mother closed her eyes. She did not speak. "She didn't even say thank you," I said quietly, "when you uninvited me." She just believed you. Jenna's face went white. That's not mine, she said. That's not. But we all knew it was. The silence in the dining room was thick enough to choke on. My mother stood by the sideboard, her hand gripping the edge like she might fall. Aunt Carol stared at the table. Uncle Dave had his phone out, pretending to check something important. Jenna was still white, but she was recovering. I could see her mind working, searching for an exit. You believe her? Jenna said, pointing at me. She's been bitter since Aunt May left her that brooch in the will. You know she has. Mr. Harrison closed his leather folder. The evidence has been presented. What you do with it is your affair. I simply had a duty to execute. And I should add, Jenna's trust fund of $60,000 has been frozen and redistributed per the codicil. He looked at me. Claire, my office will send you a summary of today's events for your records. Thank you, I said. He left. The front door clicked shut. And then my mother spoke. She's your sister, she said. To me, not to Jenna. You're really going to do this at Thanksgiving? I didn't answer. I pulled out my phone. I scrolled until I found the accidental text Jenna had sent me. I held it up. Got the earrings and necklace. Tell Mom I saw Claire take them. I read it aloud. Slow. Each word a separate hammer strike. Jenna's face went from white to gray. My mother looked at the screen. She started. That's Jenna's number, I said. She sent it to me by accident. I opened the family group chat. It was called Mitchell Clan and had 12 people in it. My mother, Aunt Carol, Uncle Dave, my cousins, their spouses, all the people who had believed Jenna without a single question. I attached the footage file, the screenshot, the inventory page, the text. I typed one sentence. Jenna took the jewelry. She listed it on eBay. The footage is time-stamped. The text is below. I hit send. My mother's phone buzzed. Aunt Carol's phone buzzed. Uncle Dave's phone buzzed. One by one, they pulled them out. I watched their faces change. Aunt Carol's mouth fell open. Uncle Dave scrolled through the footage, then looked up at Jenna like he'd never seen her before. What did you just do? My mother said. I told the truth, I said. Since you wouldn't. Jenna grabbed her own phone. Her face cycled through confusion, panic, and then flat rage. You sent this to everyone? Huevix. I'll sue you for defamation. The footage isn't defamation, I said. Neither is your text message. She went quiet. My mother stepped forward. Claire, let's talk about this, privately. We can work something out. Work what out? I said. You believed her. You uninvited me. You called me a thief. You didn't ask for evidence. You didn't ask me a single question. You just chose. I was upset, she said. The funeral was hard. It was hard for everyone, I said. Only one of us got blamed. Jenna was typing furiously on her phone. Probably deleting the eBay listing. Probably trying to get ahead of the disaster. It was too late. Mr. Harrison had already documented everything. I want you to leave, my mother said, quietly. To me, I almost laughed. I didn't crash your dinner. I brought a salad. You let me in, remember? You came here to humiliate us. I came here to clear my name, I said. You didn't give me a choice. My mother's jaw tightened. She looked at Jenna, who wouldn't meet her eyes. She looked at the phone in her hand, where the evidence was still glowing. She's still your sister, my mother said. Can't you find it in your heart to... No. The word cut through the room. If you want me to consider forgiving you, I said, you can apologize. Publicly, at next year's Thanksgiving, you can tell everyone you were wrong. My mother's face went pale. Until then, I said, don't call me. I picked up my laptop. I picked up my phone. I walked to the front door. Behind me, I heard my mother start to cry. That night, after I walked out of my mother's house, I drove home and sat in my car for 20 minutes. The engine ticked as it cooled. The dashboard clock read 8,027. I didn't cry. I just sat there, holding my laptop, letting the silence settle around me like a coat. The next morning, Mr. Harrison called. "Jenna's trust fund has been frozen," he said. His voice was calm, professional, as if he were reading a menu. "The codicil is clear. She attempted to sell the earrings. The trust is worth $60,000. It will be redistributed among the remaining beneficiaries." I asked how many that was. He told me 4. 15,000 each. I did the math in my head. It was more than I'd expected, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. "The jewelry?" I asked. "Recovered," he said. The auction listing was taken down. I retrieved the earrings and necklace from the buyer before they shipped. "They're back in the estate safe. Aunt May's collection is intact," I thanked him. He paused. "Claire, your aunt would have been proud of how you handled this." He hung up. I stared at my phone for a long time. The weeks passed. My mother called. I let it ring. She left voicemails. I didn't listen to them. Jenna sent text messages. I deleted them without reading. The family group chat went silent after the footage was posted. Aunt Carol sent me a private message 2 days after Thanksgiving. It said, "I'm sorry I didn't believe you." I replied, "Thank you." That was the closest I got to an apology. December came. January. I kept working. I kept living. The days blurred into a routine that felt safe and predictable. I found myself checking the mailbox every morning, half expecting a handwritten letter from my mother. It never came. Instead, I got a note from Mr. Harrison in February. A check. $15,000. My share of Jenna's redistributed trust fund. I deposited it and bought nothing with it. It sat in my savings account like a marble in an empty room. On November 24th, the following year, I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning. My apartment smelled like coffee. The sunlight came through the kitchen window and settled on the counter. I spent that Thanksgiving with my friends. A woman named Sarah, who I'd known since college. Her husband, Mark. Their 2 kids. My friend David, who always brought yams with marshmallows because he'd never liked turkey. We sat around Sarah's small dining table, passing dishes, laughing about nothing. No one asked about the trial or the jewelry or my sister. No one mentioned the 42 Maple Street house or the colonial with the white pillars. At that table, I was just Claire, the graphic designer, the one who liked her potatoes mashed. After dinner, we sat on the porch with blankets. Sarah's kids ran around the yard. Mark lit a fire in the pit. David handed me a glass of wine. I looked at the flames and let the warmth fill my chest. I didn't think about my mother or the codicil or the $60,000. My mother never apologized. Not publicly, not privately. The following Thanksgiving at my mother's house, there was an empty seat. I heard from Aunt Carol that my mother had invited Jenna. That my sister came, smiling, pretending nothing had happened. The conversation at the table was stilted. My mother kept looking at the door. She kept checking her phone. I didn't call. I didn't show up. I had released the screenshots to the group chat, and they had seen what they needed to see. I didn't need her words anymore. I had everything I needed. The truth had spoken for itself, and I had walked away. I spent that Thanksgiving night at Sarah's house. The stars came out cold and bright. The fire crackled. The wine was good. As I sat there, I realized something. Family loyalty should be earned, not assumed. When someone believes a lie without evidence, they reveal where their trust truly lies. My mother had chosen Jenna. She had chosen the comfortable fiction over the uncomfortable fact. And she had done so with her eyes open. Sometimes the best revenge is letting the truth speak for itself, and then walking away. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more.